In recent years, Chinese economy has slowed down. So this has given rise to the question, is China going the Japan way, where rapid growth was followed by economic stagnation, depopulation and aging? In today's video, we will look into this question. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel Wisdom of Life, Japan's economic growth and stagnation. As you can see on the screen, during 1960s, Japanese economy registered high economic growth of more than 10%. But in subsequent decades, the economic growth rate fell, from which Japan has not yet recovered. So why Japan's economy stagnated? 1990s are called Japan's lost decade. In 1991, the Bank of Japan raised interest rates to check rising real estate prices. However, the interest rate hike pushed the economy down. To address the situation, the Bank of Japan cut interest rate, but liquidity trap had already been set. It refers to a situation where savings are neither invested nor consumed, either because the interest rate is too low or because the people think that the prices will further go down. During much of 1990s, the Bank of Japan maintained 0.5% interest rate. However, it failed to stimulate the economy. Thus, we see that during 1990s, Japanese economy registered meager growth of 1.5%. In 2001, the Bank of Japan introduced another instrument to revive the economy, that is increase in money supply. But now Japan faced credit crunch as the banks were unwilling to lend. Actually, the Japanese banks had invested heavily in their real estate market. However, they incurred heavy losses as the real estate bubble burst. So the banks were keen to repair their balance sheets rather than loan out to the public. The credit crunch also led to deflation, which further slowed down the economic growth. Thus, we can see that in 2000s, Japan's economy slipped further to 0.5% growth. The decline of Japan was accompanied by the rise of China. As you can see on the screen, after 1960s, the Japanese economy's economic growth went down. However, after 1960s, the Chinese economy's economic growth picked momentum. In 1990, China also started becoming more attractive than Japan for multinational enterprises for at least three reasons: lower cost of production, much bigger market, and economic reforms introduced in late 1970s. The growth of Japan and China has both been export oriented. As you can see on the screen, until 2004, Japan was ahead of China in terms of exports. However, thereafter, China started leading the Japan, and gradually the difference between the two in terms of exports began to increase. As you can see, the ever greater size of the red portion of the bar. Now, how present day China is similar to what Japan was towards the turn of the century. First is the rising cost of production in China, as happened in Japan. Here, as you can see, that during the last 10 years, the average wages in China have considerably gone up. Second factor is slowing economy of China. Uh, During the 3 decades starting 1980s, China registered more than 10% growth per annum at a stretch. But starting 2010, Chinese economy began to slow down, and this process continues. Like Japan, China is also shifting to high quality and consumption driven growth, which may have contributed to slowing down the economic pace as well. Now, fourth, the real estate crisis faced by China. Real estate makes up a quarter of China's economic output. In recent years, China has seen collapse of two real estate giants named Evergrande and Country Garden. On the whole, there has been a downturn in housing market for such factors as increasing job insecurity among the Chinese, instability of real estate developers and their failure to complete their projects in time, which has caused consumer confidence in this sector to erode, and the demographic shifts in China which are reducing the long-term demand for housing. Now, what has been the government's response? Government has lowered down payment threshold and mortgage rates for first-time buyers, cuts in mortgage rates for existing owners, introduced longer repayment period, and also introduced hefty credit support to the housing sector. Fifth similarity is with regard to demographics. As you can see that Japanese population began to decline after 2010. Likewise, Chinese population has also declined during the last 2 years. Here you can see that demographically Japan is the oldest country in the world, and as you can see on the screen, the share of the old people is going up while the share of the working age population is going down. China is also facing a similar situation. So what are the effects of demographic shifts in China? Number one, shrinking working age population. Number two, increased dependency ratio. Number three, increase in social security expenditure including pensions. And it may also drag down China's long-term growth. Now we will look into how China is different from Japan, and a very obvious difference, as you can clearly see on the screen, is that China is a much bigger country than Japan. China is the second largest consumer market and has the largest middle class in the world. Therefore, it provides more opportunity to businesses than Japan ever did. China has more complete manufacturing than Japan ever had. China accounts for 30% of world manufacturing, while the Japan's highest ever share was 18%. Third is the development level. Japan became a developed country before it stagnated. Per capita income in 1990 was about $26,000. On the other hand, China is still a developing economy, and currently per capita income in China is less than $13,000. This shows that China still has a lot of room for development. China is far more abundant in natural resources than Japan, particularly minerals. Fifth factor is the relations of the two countries with United States. Tokyo and Washington have remained strong allies. They have been at most competitors, never rivals. Washington and Beijing, however, are strategic rivals. They are currently involved in trade and tech wars which may affect China's long-term growth. However, the relations with US also gives China greater strategic autonomy than Japan ever had. Coming to the concluding remarks, economically and demographically, as we have seen, present-day China shares quite a few similarities with Japan, close to the turn of the century. At the same time, the two countries have some crucial differences. My view is that China will not stagnate, though the growth will slow down. However, it's for the viewers to make their own decisions. I hope you like this video. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel Wisdom of Life. Thanks for your time.